I have a college degree. I went through the lectures, the exams, and all the late-night study sessions. But if I had to make that decision again with all the knowledge that I have now, would I do it again? Honestly, I'm not so sure. And what about you? Is college still worth it in 2025? Or is it just an expensive tradition that no longer guarantees success? In this video, I'll break down the hard truth about college, the hidden opportunity costs no one talks about, the alternative path that might actually get you ahead faster, but also the points that might speak for going to college. Whether you're debating enrolling, considering dropping out, or just curious if that degree is still worth the hype, I've got the answers you need. Let's dive in. Before we go any further, let's address one big elephant in the room. College is not the same everywhere. In many European countries, higher education is often free or heavily subsidized. Meanwhile, in the US, tuition costs can hit tens of thousands of dollars per year. The average degree costs around $120,000 and that is before student loan interest. And the average borrower takes around 20 years to pay off their loans. But then in Germany, where I grew up for example, public universities charge little to no tuition fees, even for international students. Similarly, countries like Norway, Sweden, or Finland have affordable or even free college programs. So if you're watching this from Europe, you might be thinking, why wouldn't I go if college is practically free? And honestly, that is a valid point. The financial burden isn't the same as for someone in the US, for example. But remember, money isn't the only factor. Time, effort, and opportunity costs still matter. And if you don't have a financial stake in your education, it's easy to take it for granted. That is why so many students in free college systems struggle with motivation, direction, and finishing their degree efficiently. So stick around, this discussion is still for you, even if you're from Europe or anywhere else in the world. I went to college because, like many, I thought it was the right thing to do. I wanted to study business, and at the time, college seemed like the best way to get the knowledge and the credibility that I needed. Generally, people go to college for three main reasons. Number one, a degree is required or recommended for their career. If you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer, for example, college is non-negotiable. Reason number two is it's the traditional path. Many go simply because it's expected by their family or society. And there's networking and social experience. College can be a great place to meet people and build relationships that help you later in life. And all of these are valid reasons, but here's the thing, they're not the only way to achieve success. Did college help me? Absolutely. I learned the basics of business, met great people, and earned a degree that opened doors early in my career. But the thing is, a lot of what I learned, looking back now, I could have learned online or through hands-on experience. And that's more true than ever before. If you want to learn coding, AI, design, or even business, platforms like YouTube, Udemy, or Coursera give you a high-quality education for a fraction of the cost. If you're looking for networking, online communities, bootcamps, and industry events can be just as effective or sometimes even better than traditional college. And if you just want the social experience, ask yourself, is that worth spending years and thousands of dollars if the degrees isn't even essential? In many fields, hands-on experience and self-learning are just as valuable, if not more, than a degree. And that brings us to a crucial question. College can absolutely be the right choice, but it just shouldn't be the default choice. Today we have more options than ever, so the real question shouldn't just be should I go to college, but rather what is the best way to learn the skills I need for the life I want? And that is where things get interesting, because even if college is free, if it's not the best learning method for your goals, it might still be an expensive choice in terms of time and opportunity cost. And that is why the next point is so important. How do you decide if college is truly worth it for you or not? Because making that decision the right way can save you years of wasted time. Let's be real, the way we learn and build careers has changed more in the last 20 years than in the entire previous century. And yet so many people still approach education like it's 1985. Back then, a diploma practically guaranteed job security. But today, some of the best paid professionals in tech, business, and creative industries never even set foot in a college lecture hall. Companies like Google, Apple, or Tesla have removed degree requirements altogether. They're hiring people based on ability, not academic credentials. And they're not alone. LinkedIn reports that skills-based hiring is growing faster than degree-based hiring. Why? Because companies are realizing that a piece of paper doesn't guarantee real-world ability. So instead of going to college, many people are now building their skills through online courses, boot camps, or straight up learning by doing. And employers, they don't even care where you studied. They care about what you can do. So if you're spending 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars on a degree, but your competition is gaining experience and getting hired without one, who's really ahead? The key question is, are you learning skills that are actually valuable in today's job market? Because in the end, whether you have a degree or not, the only thing that matters is what you can do. So is college still worth it? Let's break down the cost versus value next. Alright, let's strip this debate down to its core. The real question isn't just, is college expensive or will I get a job? It is, what are you actually paying for? There are two main things college offers: education and certification. Education, the real knowledge, is something you can get from books, online courses, boot camps, or mentors or real-world experience. But certification, the degree, the piece of paper, still holds value because some employers and companies still use this as a filtering tool. But here's where it gets interesting. If a degree automatically meant financial success, we wouldn't see thousands of graduates struggling with debt and underemployment. So what's really happening? Well, the value of a degree depends entirely on what you do with it. And sometimes you can achieve the same or even better results without it. Think of it like this. A 4-year degree might cost you something around $100,000. Meanwhile, someone else is paying $10,000 for online courses, networking, and actually working in their industry. One walks away with a diploma, the other one with a skill set and income. So who's ahead? It's not just about cost, it's about opportunity cost as well. If you could earn the same skills faster, cheaper, and with more real-world experience, would you still take the long route? In some cases, college is still the best path, but in others, it's just the default path. And defaults are dangerous when better options exist. Now, this isn't about being anti-college. It's about being pro-choice, not blindly following the traditional path, but picking the path that actually serves your goals. But if you skip college and save money, there's another massive piece to the puzzle that could either unlock or limit your opportunities. And this one isn't about what you learn, it's about who you know. Alright, here's a wild truth. Some of the best job offers don't even get posted publicly. They get passed around in private circles, referrals, or insider networks. That means if you're relying on your degree alone, you're already missing out. For decades, college was one of the best networking hubs. You were surrounded by professors, recruiters, and ambitious classmates who could open doors for you. But today, your ability to build connections isn't even limited anymore by geography alone. It's limited by your approach. And the craziest part is that some of the most powerful networks aren't even happening on campuses anymore. They're happening on LinkedIn, Twitter, Discord, and industry-specific online places. So here's how to use this to your advantage. Instead of just applying for jobs, engage with professionals in your field before you need anything. Comment on their posts, share insights, add value. If you're learning a new skill, document your progress publicly, whether it's blogging, a YouTube channel, or just posting about what you're working on, because visibility builds credibility. Also reach out to people you admire, not with a "can you mentor me," but with something thoughtful, like a perspective on their work or a question that shows that you've done your research. This approach gets you noticed by the right people, the ones that can pull you into opportunities that never even make it to job boards. Now, college can still be a networking tool, but it's no longer the tool. If you master networking in the digital age, you can bypass gatekeepers entirely. But even if you have skills and connections, there's still one more thing that separates those who thrive from those who just get by. And this is where it all comes together. Alright, let's be real, this is the part that no one really likes to talk about, but it's also the #1 reason why skipping college does not work out for so many people: self-discipline. One of the biggest advantages of college isn't just the degree. It's structure. You have schedules, you have deadlines, and professors keeping you accountable. You either show up and do the work, or you fail. But when you take the independent route and do everything on your own, no one's checking in on you. No one's forcing you to wake up early, stay consistent, or push through when things get hard. And this is where most people fall apart. Buying an online course, that's easy. Saying you'll teach yourself coding, finance, or marketing, that's also easy. But when you have zero external pressure to follow through, that's where procrastination sneaks in. Let's say 2 people want to become software developers. One goes to college where exams and deadlines force them to keep up. The other one goes the self-taught route. But without structure, they keep planning instead of actually doing. So months pass and they've barely written a single line of code. This is what separates those who thrive outside of college from those who say they're skipping but never actually move forward. If you're not careful, time just evaporates. And this isn't just about education, it's about life. If you don't have the discipline to manage yourself, no alternative path will work. And that is why if you're skipping college, you can't just wing it. You need to build your own structure, because without it, all the best resources in the world won't help you. So how do you stay on track without professors, exams, or a rigid system forcing you forward? It's simple. You create your own structure. Think of your education like a business. In business, success doesn't just happen by accident. It happens because of clear goals, deadlines, and systems. So if you're taking an independent path, you need to apply the same level of discipline to your learning. So here's how to make sure you actually follow through. Step 1, set crystal clear goals. Saying "I want to learn coding" is useless. Instead, set precise, actionable goals. I will complete this Python course by March, or I will build and launch an app by June. The clearer the goal, the easier it is to track progress. Step number 2, create hard deadlines. College forces you to finish assignments on time. When you're learning on your own, you have to enforce those deadlines. Use a mentor, productivity apps, or even a mentor or productivity partner to keep yourself in check. And step number 3 is engineer your environment. If you try to study on the same couch you watch Netflix, Good luck. Set up a distraction-free workspace, use time blocking techniques, and be ruthless about cutting out distractions when it's time to work. At the end of the day, skipping college isn't about freedom. It's about taking full ownership of your learning. If you don't create structure for yourself, you'll just drift. And before you know it, years will pass with nothing to show for it. So if college isn't the only way to build a successful career, what are the alternatives? The good news is we live in a time where you can learn skills, gain experiences, and make money in ways that are often faster, cheaper, and more effective than spending 4 years in a classroom. Let's break it down. Let's start with something that gets criminally overlooked: skilled trades. For decades, people have been told that college was the only way to get a good career. But the reality is that tradespeople often make more money than college graduates. And that's without drowning in student debt. Electricians, plumbers, welders, HVAC technicians, these jobs are in massive demands. And because there's a shortage of skilled workers in many places, wages are going up. The median salary for an electrician in the US is around $60,000 to $80,000 per year. And that often goes higher with more experience. Some specialized welders can even clear 6 figures, and the best part is that many of these careers just require 1 to 2 years of training instead of 4 years in a classroom. And let's be honest, AI isn't replacing a plumber or an electrician anytime soon. These jobs are stable, well paid, and essential. Now let's talk about tech jobs. If you want to work in coding, cybersecurity, UX design, or marketing, you don't need a degree. Instead, you can take an accelerated path. A coding bootcamp, for example, can take 3 to 6 months and lead to jobs paying $80,000 a year or even more. Google, for example, has UX and design certifications that have helped people land jobs at companies like IBM and Accenture, no degree required. And online learning platforms like Udemy, Coursera, or LinkedIn Learning offer courses in areas like business, marketing, and finance at a fraction of the cost of traditional education. And here's the key. As already mentioned, employers are shifting their focus from education-based hiring to skill-based hiring. If you can prove that you know your stuff through certifications, a project, or a strong portfolio, you can land a great job without ever having to step foot into a college lecture hall. And then there's entrepreneurship, the riskiest but potentially the most rewarding path. Sure, we all know about billionaires like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg who dropped out of college, but you don't need to build the next Apple or Facebook to succeed. You could start a service-based business like social media marketing, web design, or consulting. You could build a content business like a YouTube channel, blog, or online courses, or you could freelance and work remotely for companies worldwide. The internet has completely changed the game. If you have skills, you can monetize them, whether that's selling products, offering services, or building a personal brand. But let's be real, this path takes discipline, patience, and problem solving. There is no syllabus for building a business. You have to figure things out as you go. That is why entrepreneurship is not for everyone, but if you have the drive, it can be life-changing. Now, maybe you don't want to entirely skip college, but you also don't want to spend 4 years in the classroom without earning your first buck. So here's another smart approach: part-time study and real-world experience. Instead of going to college full-time, you can work in your field while taking online courses. You could go to community college for 2 years before transferring to a bigger school, which saves thousands in tuition, or you can get an apprenticeship where you earn while you learn. A lot of people assume that college is an all-or-nothing decision, but it doesn't have to be. The smartest move is to start getting experience ASAP, because again, employers care only about what you can do and not what's on your diploma. And here's one more option that people often forget: military or government-funded programs. In some countries, joining the military can pay for your education, so you graduate debt-free. It can provide job training in areas like engineering, aviation, or cybersecurity, and it can offer structure and discipline, which can be incredibly valuable later in life. Of course, this path isn't for everyone, but if you're looking for education, skills, travel opportunities, and financial security, it's definitely an option worth considering. Ultimately, whether you go to college or not isn't just about the money or the time. It's about what the best way to get to where you want to be in life is. College worked for me, but it's not the only way, especially not in today's world. At the end of the day, success is not about where you learn, it's about what you can do with what you have learned. If you now want to know how I beat procrastination in my everyday life, click here to watch my video about the 2-minute rule. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.